Well, welcome to what we're calling the Cooldown with myself and Keegan. We're here for the first post-race breakdown at Otter Classic.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. Goals of this are to allow you to get in the heads of two lifetime Grand Prix racers with completely different sponsor obligations. Talk through bike check, how the race went as quickly as possible. Each show will be broken up into 5 sections. Intro, results, expectations, as then the course, equipment choices, tactics, and what you would change. So yeah, you won again.
All right.
Hurts a little bit. What did you think?
It was a good fight, though.
Yeah. What did you think going into the race after Cape?
Man, I was a little bit nervous. Cape didn't go well. Bad legs, back issues, just all sorts of problems. So I didn't really know how today was going to go. You know, legs were good the last couple of days, but you know, race day is always different. So just kind of played it a little safe today. Sat in a little bit, not really my usual style. But I think this course, it actually worked all right. You know, there was like, you know, it was wind, lots of some negative racing. It was just going to be a race up the climb every time anyway. So, you know, I was trying to just, you know, get the legs ready for that and not be in pieces by the time we got there.
Do you, as like a friend and also like a foe, do you feel pressure, like as like winning the Grand Prix 3 times and coming into it, like you start all over again? You feel like you're at
I mean, it's 0 every year. You know, it's like, especially the first race, it's like, how's everyone doing? Where's everyone at? Like you haven't raced this year. We haven't raced each other. I mean, Matt just whipped me at Epic for a week, so I was like, oh, like I don't know how this is gonna go, you know? So
and you're walking around and everyone's telling you like, oh, you got it, man, you're gonna win.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, am I? I don't know. I couldn't ride out of a wet paper bag last time I raced, so this could be interesting.
Cool. The course, brand new course, gravel race, not a mountain bike race. I think like we pre-rode the day before the race, and I think we were all kind of figuring out what we were using, but. What was the bike setup for you?
Yeah, kind of went kind of lean and mean this time. Yeah, I went with 45s. You know, Max has just come out with these new tires, and I've been riding them the last couple of days, and I felt comfortable on them. And you know, there's a lot of pavement. The gravel is relatively smooth, so you know, lately everyone's like, oh, big tires, but I kind of went backwards because I've been happy with them, and you know, I was kind of setting the bike up for that last climb, and also along the pavement, I was like, oh, they roll better. So yeah, just trying to keep it smooth. And I saw you were on a mountain bike tire, but still a fast tire in the back, and you know, not a bad setup either. It's like I was kind of on the fence, you know, so there's a lot of different choices out there, which is cool. I think that's what I want in gravel races. It's like there shouldn't ever be the perfect bike and the perfect tire. I think you should either be like over-tired or under-tired at some point, and I think that makes the racing more exciting. And
no, I mean, I think that's something we talk about is like, so I ran a 2.2 up front, which is measured a little small, and a 50 millimeter in the rear. But I think you also have to set bikes up for how you race. Like I always tell people, I was like, I'm never gonna have the technical skill that Matt and Keegan do, and when I'm setting up a bike, I'm like, okay, I know I'm strong enough to be there. Maybe I'm losing a little bit here, but on that first descent, I was worried about even just being in contention. You know?
And you can save energy every corner. You know, there's some corners where like I had to like let little gaps open, and maybe you can roll through. So it's like there's like gives and takes. There's no like perfect setup, even if it is dialed in for yourself. You know.
Yeah. No, it was funny. The first time down the descent with Matt, I was like, oh, he's got some slippery tires on. He was moving side to side, and I was could kind of just sit in my line. How much do you play with tire pressure, right? I think like we both do our homework quite a bit. People tend to say like, oh, bigger tire is better, but every time you change a tire diameter, you have to figure out what are you going to do with tire pressure, what are you going to do with the wheels.
Yeah, it's always changing. It's so course dependent, you know. Yeah, I ran about 30 PSI today, which at times I was like, maybe it was a little hard, but then sometimes I was like, no, it's feeling good. It rolls fast. It was feeling good. And, you know, I'm always a little nervous to run too low, especially with a small tire like a 45. Like you don't want to pinch. You don't want the tire to fold. Like there's some ruts out there, so if you hit one of those ruts too hard, you can burp the tire or rip it off the rim. So I think I always like to err on the side of a little too much pressure, especially for a race like this. Like I think it's like in the Grand Prix, like a big part of it is just not having your bike fall apart. So you know, you want to have safe equipment and keep your things together. So
I went the opposite. I had a lot bigger tires than you, but I ran, I think, 19 in the front and 24 in the back to start.
Which I would run in the same tire. Like in a 2.2, that's like reasonable pressure, you know? So
you start playing, and there wasn't much to flat on, so I feel like it was really just like, how could you set the bike up best? I mean, I was like going a little crazy, just how light can I make this bike for this race?
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's steep, you know, 15.5% per quarter mile to start lookout this year is a big change to the course.
Yeah.
Gearing.
Yeah, I ran.
Shimano and SRAM kind of changed it up.
I know, we got 2 different things going on here. So I had a 48 tooth in the front, 1x obviously, with a 1046 Red Explorer in the back. It's kind of my go-to.
Yeah, but not that big. Like a lot of the guys running 52s in the back.
Yeah. And the Explorer group's a lot lighter, so that's the one thing. Sometimes you're like, oh, maybe I want the gears. But you're like, oh, it's like 250 grams, so kind of take the weight and just grind it out. And it's always like you pre-ride a course, you're like, God, it feels a little big. But then once you get racing, you know you're going to be just like ripping up these climbs. So sometimes it's good to not give yourself the option to go slow either. I'm all about that.
I was going to say, if you can pedal the hardest gear you have, you'll keep moving faster.
Exactly. Like you have no choice but to go fast. So.
No, I went the other way with Shimano. Obviously, we don't have a great 1x setup right now, but it's funny coming from like a mountain bike background and a road background. I still love 2x, and I mentioned that to you after the race, and you were like,
I hate it. Never catch me on it. The road bike, I have it, of course, but I'm like, I don't love it.
So yeah, I mean, for this race, I just love being able to, like, I put a big dog in the front. I have 52 in the front. Obviously, I have an 11 in the back, 1134 in the back, but to me, being able to drop down to a 34 was the 1-to-1 was super nice. Yeah,
and keep a little better cadence, and there's like, gives and takes. But you also did the shift. Like I saw at one point you shifted, and I was like, ooh, you could like, if he does this in the last lap, you get time to attack. So,
Oh, trust me, I know. I had to like think about it every time. I was like, get off the pedals, shift, get off the pedals.
Yeah, you gotta be gentle.
Yeah, the 52-34 is a big jump. So.
Yeah.
Anything else with bike setup that you thought through?
I don't know. Otherwise, it's my usual bike. I didn't really ever, road pedals, which looks like you ran road pedals too.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get off the bike. I'm gonna run road pedals.
Yeah, it's like maybe you pull your foot out of a corner or two, but you're not gonna be doing it that often. So I think road pedals are lighter, more aero, more comfortable. So
yeah,
I'm always for that. So
what's nutrition like for you today? Simple,
straightforward. I'm never second, so I had I did 90 grams in the bottles. So I did 3 scoops of C30, a little extra sodium, and then the gels. Just stay topped off, and a little caffeine at the end as usual, and pretty simple. I don't really mess with nutrition much. It always kind of stays the same. Sometimes I'll lean the mix out if it's hot, but today was pretty cool, so you can kind of run it a little richer, I thought.
I did it on accident today. All my high carb bottles had water, all my water bottles had high carbs, so that was spectacular.
As long as you get it.
I was just confused. I was like, what am I drinking right now?
It was a lot of work to make bottles for this. I was struggling. I did it like 4 different times, and I was like doing the numbers. I was like, oh, you made too many bottles, and then I ended up with not enough bottles and had to make more. And
yeah, the 3 laps and 3 feed zones was kind of complex.
And then you're like, the last feed zone we only get twice.
Yep.
So I only had 2 bottles from that one because we don't pick up the first time.
Yeah. Did you start with a full bottle or half bottle?
I just started with the bottle I warmed up with. There was probably only half left because I was going to feed out of the 7.5 mile feed zone.
Yep.
So I was like, because I was worried about ejecting it anyway because full bottles tend to bounce out of cages. Yep. So. There's a lot of brake bumps and washboards out there on that first descent, and I had a bottle almost come out pre-riding, so I was a little worried. So I was like, we'll start with a half bottle.
Yep.
And stayed in.
Would you change anything? Bike setup, nutrition? I mean, obviously you won, so it's an easy thing for you to say.
I don't think so. I mean, you saw me throwing up across the finish line, but I think that was just like, sometimes it just happens. Sometimes you end up, maybe I put down an extra couple gels and the stomach was not happy, or I don't know. I was trying to hold it in. I felt it coming, and I was like, I don't know if I can make it. Yeah. And like post it up, and immediately just projectile all over myself.
I'm always impressed how much you can suffer. I think that, like, you're strong also, but there's a lot of guys that are strong out there.
Everyone's strong.
I feel like it's such a game sometimes mentally to just be there, and we've done it a couple times in Tucson where I'm like, fuck, he's doing 700 watts right now. Like, I don't think I can do this. And I thought when I came back to you today, I really thought I had you. I was like, in his head mentally, but you just don't break.
And I've raced a Sea Otter since I was racing this course since I was like 17 years old. Yeah. So I've got that lookout climb pretty well figured out. There's always a fight up it in the mountain bike race, and I was like, well, at least we get to finish the same way. Yeah. I've always had good battles with Russell there last year. Yeah. Matt's always been there. You and I have had some good fights up that. So
they weren't good for me, but that's fine.
It's still a good fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was expecting you to be behind me, and then I saw Matt, and I was like, I don't know what happened back there. So did he like roll past you when it flattened out, or?
Yeah, he like came up when you hit that last time as we hit it. I was just like right on the verge of cramping, and it was just the wrong moment for me to be able to push.
On that one.
I just it was so hard to push, and I thought I had done it all well. You're on top of sodium and all the things, but
just so violent.
Yeah, especially with the new edition, like when you first went, I was like, okay, I can roll him back, like I feel great right now, but like do not go too hard. But then the minute we started rolling in that last pitch, I was just like, it's going to be near damn impossible for me to follow what you're doing. And at that point, it's not even like watts, right? Everyone wants to talk about power. but it's.
You're not looking at power. You're just riding. You're going flat out.
And I always laugh. You know, the first 2 laps, you're like, oh yeah, we're doing like 450. Then the last lap, you could be doing 280, and guys are still going back.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just trying to push as hard as you can, and because you know you can see the top, and it kind of the level goes, and then it kicks again. Yeah. And then this time we had to go up the back side of the corkscrew to finish. So you got to save just like a little bit, because before you could just empty the tank, and you're done.
Yeah, I was like, I saw you sprinting. You were probably 20 seconds ahead of me, and then Matt was in between, and we both were we getting out of a saddle, just barely moving. And I was like, Keegan's still got some kick left.
So I looked back and saw Matt, and that's not who you want with the downhill finish. I was like, this guy, if he can smell me, he's gonna roll me back. So I was like, gotta have at least like a couple bike lengths, get it done.
Cool. Obviously, I think we want to do this next couple races in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think we keep it going.
Yeah.
Try and make it quicker next time. Maybe we'll do it right after the finish instead of hours after, but we're trying.
He took a while peeing.
I was slow in anti-doping, and
then I couldn't get out of the expo. So that's why we're in a car park.
And now he wants to go home.
Cool. See you in Unbound.
Yeah.
We'll see you at Levi's, but we won't do this at Levi's. It's a road race.
We won't do it there.
We can do it there if you want.
Maybe we'll do it there. We'll see.
Do a road bike check.
Yeah. I don't race road often, you know. Once a year.
I don't get to either anymore. It's the one time I feel like I have a small little snippet of advantage over you.
I've become kind of a road racer now, though. It's like gravel. It's all the same.
That's what you do in the shootout. It's pretty much a road race every weekend. So, cool, dude.
Right.
Thanks.
Cool. Nice work. Yeah. Good fun.
First, third, we'll be back.
Another one.